We have a very fun matchup here in the Rams and the Eagles facing off once again. These were playoff foes not many moons ago, and for it, we've got to get our guy Teron Armstead involved. He has been somebody who's been able to help us highlight the trenches every single week here on this show, and he's got a good one here to preview between the Rams and the Eagles. Let's check out what he had to say. All right, back with our guy, Teron Armstead, here for another trench breakdown of the week. Today, we're talking about one of his favorites. And when I say one of his favorites, I mean he mentioned that he was one of the reasons why he's glad that he's retired and he never has to face this guy again. We're talking about Jared Verse of the Los Angeles Rams going up against Jordan Mailata of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Teron, I'm referencing a clip from a podcast that you were on not too long ago where you specifically mentioned Jared Verse and the power that he has in his pass rush as one of the couple of reasons why you're happy that you don't have to put on the helmet again. A lot of people talk about pass rush moves. They talk about the finesse, right? The ghost move, the club rip, the spin move, the cross chop. Like everybody loves the sexy pass rush moves. But you were talking about that speed to power conversion that Jared Verse has. And you mentioned it last week with Myles Garrett as well. So in a world where we love the flashy when it comes to pass rushing, why is handling someone's power as a pass rusher something that you have to focus on first and foremost, and why it's so devastating?
Yeah, Trevor, I would say, not just I would say, it's proven. That's the move you're going to see most. Majority of the game, majority of every game, you're going to see power. So like if you were to chart rushes on a down and down basis, bull rush would be the most charted. Mm-hmm. Of course, you never know if it's quick game. You don't have time all the time to get into all those different rushes. So bull rush is going to be what you see more than anything else. Spin move maybe 10%, cross chop maybe 12%, things like that. But the bull rush you're going to see from across the league the most. So my thought always was I have to stop power first. Stop the majority, stop the majority, stop the majority. So that's like the biggest thing when I'm evaluating offensive linemen, or I'm training offensive linemen and working with them. Let me see you stop power. Can you anchor? If you can do that, if you can stop power in the league, you got a shot. If you cannot stop somebody from bull rushing you, it's going to be a very, very long, very, very tough, challenging road to be an NFL player, be an NFL offensive lineman. So it's the most common. It's from a down and down basement, you will see bull rushes across the board.
And when we talk about this specific matchup, it's interesting because you got Verse, who's a great speed to power conversion type of a player. It feels like he gets off the ball and that first step, I mean, there's just so much power that comes in that first step, explosiveness, that he doesn't need a big runway to be able to bull rush you and knock you back a little bit.
Right.
But against Jordan Mailata is 365 pounds. And so wanted to ask you is, as you teach guys or throughout your career, obviously facing power and how to do that a little bit better, what's the formula of like, hey, you know what? Sometimes you just got to be bigger. Like you just got to have more weight on you. You got to be able to anchor versus the things that you could, technique wise to be able to mitigate that power. And then specifically how this matchup with Mailata, given how big he is, helps him against a guy like Jared Verse.
Yeah, no, for sure. You gotta have some weight, you gotta have some luggage in the trunk for sure to be able to take the brunt of that power. It's things you can do throughout the off season to improve. So you get stronger in the weight room, you get on that Pilates reformer, you get your core strong, you get your legs stronger in the off those things that you can do in the off season to improve your overall play strength. Technique-wise, strike timing, hitting people with full extension, having a great base, knowing exactly where your feet are. Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata, they may be the best in the league at that. Like, they know exactly where they are in space. You never see those guys heels together, feet crossed over. They know exactly where they are in space, great base, so they're able to anchor really, really well. So it goes to your base, having your feet in the ground, and then strike timing. If you're catching Jared Verse, if you're letting him hit you in the face mask, run through your chest, and you feel like you'll be able to stop power after that, you have a very dirty back in your jersey. It's going to be a long day. Your quarterback going to be pushing you in the back all day.
So this matchup specifically, how do you feel like it's going to play out, right? Talk to me about both of these guys. The things we've talked a little bit about, okay, the archetype of what they want to do, but these guys specifically, versus Mailata. Mailata was our highest graded offensive lineman that we had last year. He's off to a good start this year.
Yep.
Verse, same thing. He had one of the most total pressures recorded in the NFL last season. The sack total wasn't there, but the win percentage was, and just how much he was generating pressure on the pocket was. So this is absolutely two of the best right now in the NFL. How do you see this one playing out, and what's the chess match between these two guys?
I'm excited to see this one, Trevor. I'm excited to see that we saw it in the playoffs last year when the Eagles defeated the Rams and went ahead to win the Super Bowl. For Jordan Mailata, he's off to a great start. He was, I believe, the highest graded tackle in week one for sure. And it's like the perfect matchup for him because he is such a big body. He is a very strong man, big base, anchor. So Jared Verse will have to find more ways to win. Like other guys, other tackles, he can really just go speed to power, and this guy's going to have to struggle to stop him or slow him down. But for Jordan, this is really into his wheelhouse. So if I had to pick a side, I would favor Jordan Mailata in this game. I think it plays perfectly into his strengths. I would like to see Verse add an inside counter at some point. I think that'll be the only way he'll be able to challenge Jordan Mailata on a consistent basis. He had a snap last year where he was able to run Jordan Mailata over. He jumped the snap perfectly. Mailata's feet wasn't in the ground. I don't see that happening. He's going to be flying off the ball. He'll be ready. His feet will be ready. He'll be ready to anchor. So Jared Verse will have to find another way to win.
I'm excited to see it too, because Verse, as a competitive guy, he's had this game circled,
Sure.
right? When the schedule came out, he had this circled. Okay, yeah, it's Houston and Tennessee to kind of start the season, but this is the test. And so maybe he's got a little bit of something in the back pocket that he's been in the lab with this offseason to give him a little bit more of a finesse game. So I'm very interested to see if he is able to show a little bit more finesse in his game against a guy who can neutralize his power a little bit more. Teron, as always, man, it's fantastic insight. Appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you, bro.
Love getting to talk to Teron Armstead every single week to preview those trench matchups. That is going to be a fun one. I really am looking forward to seeing if Jared Verse has a couple of extra finesse moves, some inside moves to try to counter. If Jordan Mailata can really handle his power, which he's been able to do as one of the highest graded tackles that we have had in the NFL. What do you think about this game, Dalton? Which side of the ball do you want to talk about to preview this one?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on that Eagles offensive side. And yes, those one-on-one pass rush matchups are going to be so much fun to watch, right? Jared Verse on one side against Mailata. You've got Byron Young, who's playing really well right now, the inside with guys like Kobe Turner and Braden Fisk. But the difference between these two teams last year was the Eagles' ability to run the ball in both of those games. And Saquon Barkley just absolutely teed off on the Rams. 8.8 yards per carry, 2.6 yards before contact per carry, which is ridiculous when you consider getting near that 2-yard mark on that is an elite range. And here at 2.5, over 2.5, that's fantastic stuff. And Saquon, 4 touchdowns, all 4 of them at least 62 yards long. So I think when you look at the Rams, this is why they signed Poona Ford. This is why they signed Nate Landman at linebacker, to get reinforcements in run defense alongside that defensive line that's so talented. But in this matchup last year, twice, it was Saquon Barkley who made the difference. If they can stop the run and make Jalen Hurts beat them, then I think the Rams feel really good about their defensive side of the ball. If not, and Barkley takes the game over like he did the last 2 matchups last year, then they're going to have a serious problem.
Yeah, I just don't feel like the Rams were built for that snow game in the playoffs. I think that went into that matchup a ton. I really do. And so I think it's going to be a lot more even this time around, even with it being in Philadelphia. Now, the Rams defensive line has been playing really well. You mentioned a couple of those players there. 77.8 overall defensive grade for the Rams. That's third for defensive line grades in the NFL that we have in our system. 75.7 pass rush grade as a defensive line. That is sixth. Now, they have so far played the Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans, which are ranked 20th and 24th overall in offensive line gradings in the NFL per PFF. The Eagles are first. They have the number 1 offensive line grade in the NFL, playing the Cowboys in week 1 and then the Kansas City Chiefs in week 2. So it's going to look a little bit different. But honestly, I think a lot of the talk is going to be about the trench matchups between these two teams. But very quietly, Dalton, The Rams are just cooking in the passing game. I think that Stafford played really, really well last year, and I felt like towards the end of the season, he started to get that recognition and that notice. But man, he has hit the ground running this year, and there was all the talk this offseason about he's got the back injury. Is he even going to play? I was worried about it. I said the Los Angeles Rams were going to miss the playoffs this year simply because I didn't know what Matthew Stafford's health was going to be like. But when he is out there, man, I mean, look at this. They are first in the NFL in team passing grade at a 91.8. They are 10th in EPA per pass. They are 5th in positive EPA per pass percentage that they have as a team. So they've just been phenomenal when it comes to knowing where the ball is going. And with a player who is as talented and who is as seasoned, as wise at the quarterback position as Matthew Stafford is, it's hard to bet against this guy. So I'm picking the Rams in this one. I know you're picking the Rams too. I saw that you got your score prediction in before I did, and I thought you were going to take the Eagles, and I thought I was going to get a different one for you here. But I'm going to take the Rams 24-21.
Yeah, I really like what the Rams have going on. Stafford's on fire right now, and I think it's great that they have an answer for zone coverage in Puka Nacua and a really good answer now against man coverage with Devontae Adams. I think those two guys could have a really big day against an Eagles secondary that has not looked quite as sharp as it did last year. I just think the Rams, this is the hump they have to get over, and they have to stop the run in this game. But the Eagles also, their offense in general just has not looked great through 2 games. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle more so than last year for Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Hurts has hardly had to throw the football at all. The Eagles have been winning close, grinding games. I think the Rams go out on the road and pull one out here.
By the way, I forgot to mention the scores for the Dolphins and the Bills game before we moved on from that one. I've got the Bills 34-20 beating the Dolphins. You have the Bills beating the Dolphins 28-17. So we're both taking the Bills there. We were both also taking the Rams on the road against the Eagles.